Hi there, welcome to the Schwowin's Nest. My name is Sandra, and today on my channel I've got some beautiful pink peony thrift flips. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you could hit that red button and stick around a while. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. For this first project, I'm using these zinc mason jar lids that I got, I think it was $2 for a bag of like 20 of them. Now, I know what you're thinking. Some of you are thinking, why are you doing anything with those? Because they're antiques or they're vintage. Well, whatever I'm doing to them today is going to be easily taken apart and they're not going to get damaged. I'm just using a piece of duct tape to hold two of them together, and then I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue just to reinforce them. I'm going to do two at a time, and then I'll be able to figure out what shape I want to put these in. I decided on making a circle, and at first I thought I would make a wreath out of it, but the duct tape and the glue just didn't hold together well enough to be able to hang it on the wall, so I decided to make a table centerpiece instead. One of my subscribers sent me a huge box of solo wood flowers, and I am so grateful. I love these. These are carnations that I'm using today, and they're so beautiful, and I love to dye them in different colors. Today, I'm going to use a couple of different shades of pink to create a peony look. I don't purchase any special dyes or coloring for these flowers. I use acrylic paint and water, and it's always turned out absolutely beautiful. I can mix whatever color I want, and for this first one, I'm using a really light pink, and then I'm going to use a little bit of a darker pink, as you see here. So I use about a quarter of a cup, maybe a third of a cup of water, and then I add enough paint in there to get the shade that I want. I'm using the bamboo skewers that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to put the pointed end right into the skewer, and I always have a piece of styrofoam at the ready so I can poke them in and let them dry. All you need to do is simply dip the flour right into the paint mixture, and you're going to kind of push it up and down a little bit just so the paint can get right into the deep crevices of the flour, and then tap off any of the excess and then put it on the styrofoam and set it aside to dry. I've got 10 flowers here, and I'm going to do 5 of them with the light pink and then 5 with the dark pink. I do have a link for solo wood flowers down in my description box, but I have seen them available on Amazon too, so make sure you check out both places and see which is the better deal. Once the tips of the flowers had a chance to dry, I decided to double dip. I'm taking the light pink and dipping just the very top of it into the dark pink, and look at the beautiful shading that you get with this. It This is the first time that I've done this double dipping, and I think you're going to see a lot more because it's absolutely gorgeous. I would love to see it with blues and purples. I think they'd be really, really pretty. The dark pink flowers with the light colored pink on the tips was a very subtle difference, but it really makes them look realistic. To attach the florals into the mason jar lids, I'm going to be using some pieces of pool noodle, and I'm going to just push them into the mason jar lid and wedge it in there, and then they won't pop out. Then I'll be able to use the bamboo skewers on the carnation flowers and some other greenery picks and be able to just poke them into the pool noodle, again, not harming the zinc lids. I'm using this little scoring tool from the Dollar Tree to make holes in the pool noodle so I can very easily just poke my stems into it. For these stems, I'm just going to tuck them down into the side of the mason jar, and sometimes I'm going to need a little bit of hot glue just to hold them down, but I didn't want them sticking out too much. I'm going to add my first carnation, and just with the little skewer that was on it already, I'm very gently just going to push it down into the pool noodle. And then I'm going to add some other little bits of greenery too, just to bring this all to life. I'm going to repeat the steps for the rest of where you see the pool noodle, but I'm just going to alternate the light and the dark colors. I started adding some of these other florals to the top. I did think that I was still going to be able to hang it as a wreath at this point, so you'll see something a little bit different when I show you the reveal. I love how this turned out, and I think it's so pretty for spring. I'm so excited to share that I have been invited to do a thrift flip collaboration with Linda from Linda's DIY by Design and Emily over at Farm Charm Chic. If you have not seen these ladies' channels, you are missing out. I watch them all the time when I'm crafting, and I always stay up to date with all of their tips and techniques. And you will not be disappointed if you go over and check out their videos. I'll have a link for that down in my description box. It's a playlist link, so all you've got to do is hit one link and you'll be able to view both their videos. I'll also have that video link pinned to the top of my comments. This is a teapot that I have already made over once. I spray painted it white and then I added these little clay leaves. So I'm going to remove the leaves and do something completely different with it. That's the beauty of creating your own home decor. You can change things up whenever you feel like it. Once I had all the leaves off, I took it out to my garage and spray painted it a couple of times with satin white spray paint. Now I'm going to be adding some of these rub-on transfers. These are a beautiful pink peony. They're from Essential Stencil, and I've had these for a couple of years, I think. They last so long. You get two huge sheets, and you get smaller sizes and bigger sizes, and they have so many beautiful designs. So check out those. I think I have a link for that down in my description box. Rub-on transfers are probably one of the easiest way to make really beautiful high-end home decor that is super simple to do. All you have to do is place the design onto your project, and then you're going to use a plastic tool. I usually use a ruler because I actually don't have a proper tool yet. That's something that I've been wanting to get, but this ruler seems to work just fine. You could probably also use a credit card or any other type of plastic tool. With these rub-on transfers, it's really easy to tell when the image is transferred to your project because the plastic sheet that is on the top starts to lift away. Then gently pull off the transfer sheet and you've got a beautiful design stuck to your project. I'm going to continue adding some peonies until I get the design that I want, and then I'm going to add something on the other side too. Check out the size of this box that I got for $8 at the thrift store, and this was a while ago. All of these items that I'm making over today were in my stash. And if you saw my stash in a video a few weeks back, you'll know that I have a ton of stuff that I've got to work through before I can get out to the thrift store again. To prep the box, I took it outside and I gave it one coat of black spray paint. And now I'm going to take this beautiful sage green color that I mixed together. I think I used gray and a couple of different colors of green just to get this beautiful spring color. I thought doing the green would complement the pink of those peonies perfectly. I'm going to give this two coats. I decided that I wanted to add some metal accents to this box. So I found these two apothecary pull tabs in my stash. I wish I would have had four because I think that would have made it really look good, or even three, but I only had two. So I'm just making sure that they're spaced evenly apart. Normally, I would screw in these little metal pieces, but this wood is so hard. I didn't want to pre-drill ahead of time. So I just grabbed some of these little baby furniture tacks that I have, and they are super sharp at the end. I just used a hammer and gently tapped them in. Now, I wanted to make sure that spray painting it black did not go to waste. So I'm using some 80 grit sandpaper and I'm going to go over all of the edges where it would naturally wear and just pull off some of that green paint. Some areas went right down to the wood, others stayed black, but you can see here that it really makes it pop. I'm using some of the larger rub-on transfers in the same peony pack that I used for the teapot. And I just thought this looked gorgeous on top of this green color. What a beautiful piece this is turning out to be. And again, I'm just going to place it right in the center, make sure it's nice and flat. And I'll use my little plastic ruler. This time it's white. If you haven't noticed, I misplaced the pink one. And I'm going to do the same thing, just rubbing gently and firmly, making sure that all of it transfers off before I peel off the transfer sheet. When I show you the finished piece, you'll notice that I added some little leaves inside the labels of the apothecary handles, and I added some peonies to the front. I love this piece, and I hope you love it too. I'm always on the lookout for little white containers at the thrift store. This one was $1.99. I am going to remove that nautical rope there. I just don't think it fits in with it. I'm starting off with this color that's called clay, and I'm using a really chunky stippling brush, and I'm going to just go over the jar. I started at the bottom, and now I'm just going to start kind of going in lines all the way around. I want some of that white to show through just a little bit, so I'm not going to make it a solid color. Then I'm going to switch it up and start with a different color and do the same technique. Next, I'm using my favorite color, which is mushroom. You guys hear me talk about that color a lot on my channel. And I'm doing the same thing, just stippling it around so it gives it a little bit of texture plus the color. I didn't wash my brush. All I did was take a paper towel and I wiped some of the darker paint off and then just started with the next color. And then I'll do the same thing with the final color. This color is called Parchment. It's a Craft Smart paint that I got from Michaels. I don't know if they carry them anymore, but it's basically just an off-white. And it's almost the same color as the little jar was initially. It's just going to freshen up that very top edge. I'm really pleased with how my projects look today, and I hope you like them as much as I do. Here's how they turned out. Thanks so much to Linda for inviting me to this collaboration with herself and Emily. I had a great time creating these projects for all of you. And don't forget to go down to my description box or the top pinned comment, click on that playlist link so you can see what Linda and Emily have created. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I truly appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.